Howdy makers, this tutorial is to help you make a cool, simple animation in the Make Code coding environment for the Microbit. So the first thing you're going to want to go to is the Microbit website, or the Make Code website for Microbit, and click on the purple New Project button right here. That will open up our programming environment. Remember, on the left here, we have a preview area where we can watch our program work. There's also all the different blocks we'll be using is in this middle section in categories. We'll be using the first two categories, basic and input. And then this area here on the right is where I actually build the program. Okay, so once we have this loaded, the first thing we're going to want is to go into the basic category. Now, last week we learned about this show icon tool, and that has a bunch of already drawn icons, but we're going to get a little fancier here. And I'm going to get rid of this by dragging this back into the category area, and it turns into a trash can. This time we're going to go into the show LEDs section. And this gives us a blank area of 25 different LEDs, and we can turn them on just by clicking on them. Now, I'm going to first try to make a dancing stick figure. So there I have, I'm actually going to build that where stick figure is just standing up like that, okay? And the first time I build this, I'm going to put it inside the forever loop. That'll just keep it going over and over and over. So I can see the animation happening. Now, an animation is a series of pictures that are slightly different from each other. So when we show them one after the other, they change, and that makes it look like something's moving or happening. So the second frame I do here needs to be slightly different than that. So I'm going to redraw the main part of the person, but I'm going to make some changes. I'm going to have the right hand go up. So instead of here, I'm going to make it go up. I'm going to have the left hand go down right here. And then I'm going to have the feet go out this time. Okay, so I'm going to drag that into the forever loop underneath it, and now we can watch the animation so far. Pretty cool dance moves so far. Okay, so we want to keep going with this. I'm going to get rid of this picture of me. We're running out of room here. A couple of ways of dealing with that. You could scroll up and down here to see more, or you can also zoom out a little bit using the plus minus zoom buttons down here. So we can add in a third one. So I could pull in another one and redraw my first frame, but I want it to go back and show the same thing as the first frame. So I'm going to teach you a trick. You can either right click or two finger click on a block, which should bring up a little menu. And I'm going to click on duplicate, which makes another copy of this. And I could just stick that copy in right afterwards. So it goes back to center. Now, if you can't figure out how to do that, you can always redraw the first person. It only takes about 10 seconds. Okay? And then I want my last frame to be kind of like the second frame. So I'm going to draw the basic parts of the person. But this time, instead of the hand going up on the right, I'm going to have the hand go down on the right and then up on the left. And then instead of the legs going out, I'm going to have the legs going in. Okay. So let's take a look. And looking good. My animation looks great. Okay, that's only 4 frames. That did not take very long. So if this is as far as you want to go, this will get you a C if you want to turn this in. If you want to learn how to turn this in, you can either scroll to the end, or there's also a short video that will show you how to turn this in. But if you're interested in a B, then we need to add in a few more features to our program. One of them was to have this animation not just running, but to happen when you push a button. So now we're going to want to go into the input area and grab one of these on button pressed loops right here. Now notice it's the same shape as the forever loop. So that means we can put things inside of it. And I'm going to grab the animation by the first frame. And you'll notice when I grab it by the top, it'll bring everything underneath it with me. And I'm going to put it inside the button A pressed. So now this animation happens when I push the button A. So that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to want to build a second animation. So actually, I'm going to do that again inside the forever loop. So this time I'm going to make a simple explosion. So I'm going to start with just a dot in the middle, and then maybe a little diamond around it so it's expanding, and then maybe another one that expands a little more than that. You do whatever animation you want. And then I'll add a fourth where it's maybe just the corners. And then maybe a last one here that's just the outsides. Now let's watch this inside the forever loop here. Okay, looks good. So we can put that inside a button B. Now, in this input section here, you notice there is no on button B. What we have to do is grab an on button A, and you'll notice that A part is just a pull down menu, and I can change the A to a B, and then I'll drag my second animation over to there. So I've got one animation that happens when I press button A, and another one that happens when I press B. So if this is as far as you want to go, you can hand this in for a B. But if you're interested in getting full credit, all of them, then we're going to add in two more features. The last features here are adding in a pause. Now, a pause is exactly what it sounds like. It's a wait. Okay? So that's down lower in the basic category underneath an extra forever. So I'm going to drag one of these out, and we want to add in a pause somewhere. So I'm going to pull this all the way near the bottom of my animation here, and I'm going to ask it to pause for a sec, and then maybe flash all the way around. And maybe the middle there. Okay, so there'll be a last frame that happens. So let me try that. Okay, now that didn't really make it wait very often or for very long. This 100 milliseconds is only a tenth of a second. So I'm going to increase that to half of a second. And let's try that again and see if that looks any better. Yeah, that's a nice little wait there. So I added in a little wait before the last one. And then the last thing I don't like is that it stays on that last frame. I want some way of clearing it. So the last part we're going to do is to make it clear the screen, show nothing if we shake it. So that goes into the input section. You're going to grab one of these on shake. And back in the basic area, you can just grab one of these show LED blocks, but don't click in anywhere. So you could try the A and then shake it, try the B and shake it, or press the shake button, and that'll work. Okay, so this is ready to turn in. If you don't know how to turn it in yet, you can click on the share button at the top, and that will ask you to name your project. I'm going to call mine animations, and I'm going to click on this publish project button. And what that'll do is it'll save it to the cloud, and also it gives you this nice link that you can copy. You could highlight it and hit in Control C, but they make it easy where you could just click on this purple copy button and it'll copy it. Then you're going to want to go over to Google Classroom and find the assignment. The assignment is right here. You want to open it up all the way so you could see the Your Work section. Then you're going to want to click on Add or Create. And this time you want to click on Add or Create a link. And you can paste that link in there and click on Add Link. And usually it takes a few seconds for it to find the page online. Once it's there, you can click Turn In. Okay, have some fun making your animations, folks.